Good morning, everybody. Maseches Bava Kama Daf Kuf Yud Amud Beis. This shows lo nishmas Rabbi Meir Menachem ben Akiva lo nishmas Bas Moshe Rus Bas Shalom lo nishmas. V'rafua Shmuel Avram ben Yudis. Lea Bas Tomo Rus Bas Rivka Dvoiro Bas Dvor Bas Rus and Bas Leo. Please all daven for the boy. There's a boy who's missing. I think the name is Avraham Moshe Ben Gittel. Very, very terrible story. He's missing for a long time. So yesterday we spoke about the Matanas Keuna. One correction I want to make about what I said yesterday. I don't know if I was clear or not. I wasn't clear myself about it. We spoke about Bechor, one of the four Matanas that are inside Yerushalayim of the Kodshim Kalim, the Kodshim that can be eaten by Kohanim and the families. One of those is called Bechor. What's a Bechor? The firstborn. The firstborn is given to the Kohen. Now, the Kohen, once you have a Bechor that's born in your herd, and the Bechor is healthy and is no mum, is perfectly healthy, there's no blemish, then you give the actual animal after some time, you give it to the Kohen, and the Kohen actually at some point is in charge of bringing it to Beis HaMikdash. The Kohen brings it to the Corbin, and then the Kohen gets to eat the meat in Beis HaMikdash. Meaning it's not that Yisrael brings it to Beis HaMikdash, and then the Kohanim get to eat all the meat. The Kohen is also in charge of bringing it to Beis HaMikdash and bringing it up to the Mizbeach, and the Imurim go to the Mizbeach. That was not clear by me, so that's what I want to clarify.
Why is it so special for donkey?
Because the donkeys helped the Bnei Yisrael when they left Mitzrayim. So there's like a special thing about them, even though they're not kosher, but they still have that level of importance. So now let's continue. Why did we talk about the 24 Matnas Tiuna? What does that have to do with Bava Kama? The reason was because we were asking before that, is Gezel Hager considered a Matana or Yerusha? Remember? Let's go to the question of Rava. Rava was asking, let's say a person stole from a ger a box of cookies before Pesach were worth 20 shekels, and a nice fancy Shivas Regal was worth 500 shekels. And he stole it, and now it is still there after Pesach, and the value surprisingly plummeted to being worth 0 times 0. If the ger was alive, I would be able to give it to the ger and say, Mr. Avram Mackenzie, I'm so sorry, but this is what you have. This is the Arei Shel Cholafanecha. You get the Heishivas Gezel Hager Gozal, and that's it. Can you say that to the Kohanim? Now that the ger died, can you tell the Kohanim, listen, guys, knock, knock, Beis HaMikdash, hello, Yehoyariv and all his family. So nice to see you today. You guys look amazing in your white clothes and bare feet. Can I have a Gezel Hager to give you? I have this box of cookies and Shivas Regal. They go like, woohoo, we can't work, we can't drink while working. But that would be nice for later. But then you tell them, you know what, guys, this is from before Pesach and now it's worth 0. Can I say that to them or no? If we say that it's like a Yerusha, what they got from the ger is a Yerusha, then what? Then I can tell them, listen, Yerusha, you don't choose. It's like you're the heirs of the ger. You don't choose Yerusha. People inherit all kinds of weird things, also things that are not worth anything. It's a metzias, it's a reality whether you like it or not. And then I could give it to the Kohanim. But if you say that it's considered as a matana, in other words, they're supposed to have some kind of financial benefit from that. They're supposed to get something, receive something. Then in that case, they didn't get anything. And you know what I'll have to give them instead? I'll have to fork out of my own pocket 20 shekels and also 500 shekels for the Shivas Regal and give it to them because I'm supposed to give them the matana that it's worth. Why? Because by the ger also, if the cookies and the whiskey would have been, let's say, burnt or stolen, I would have to give out cash, right? In other words, it's always looming there in the background. So that's a question. Am I supposed to give them something valuable or not? Answers the Gemara, here, look, we figured it out from the very long, interesting brisa. We are now in the middle of the wide lines. Line starts with the word Upidyon Peter Chamor. Yeah, that's what the line starts. Upidyon Peter Chamor, it's more or less the middle wide line of Kuf Yud Amud Beis. Oh, I'm way behind here. Okay. Upidyon Peter Chamor, V'sde Achuza, V'sde Charomim, Gezel Hager. Last but not least of the 24 is what? Gezel Hager. The Kakarim Yas Matana. And it's called a Matana. In other words, when the Brisa said that these are the 24 matonos, that is to say that they have to be a matona. Matona means something valuable. Shmami no, that is to say, mekabel matona savu shmami no. So you see that really the Kohanim are mekabel matono, and it has to be worth money. And if you stole the chometz, now the chometz is worth 0, then we don't say that it's worth anything, and you have to give them the money instead. The other pshat was, if you remember, was Rav Zira. Rav Zira said, was it Rav Zira? I think so. Rav Zira said that there's another nafkamina. Let's say a Kohen got 10, no less than 10 cows from Gezel Hager. Yeah, the one who stole from the ger was a cowboy. He's from Texas, Mackenzie. Yeah, and now the thief stole from him 10 behemoths, and he gave to the Kohen 10 behemoths. Does the Kohen have to take meiser or not from the behemoths, from the animals? Does he have to tithe it? So that's also nafkamina. If it's a matana, then you don't have to tithe it. If it's a Yerusha, then you do. It's kilo born by you. It's yours from Yerusha, then you do. That's also nafkamina. It's a matana. Since it's a matana, the Rambam paskins, I saw the Rambam. Rambam says the Kohen does not have to give the 10th from the 10 behemoths of the Gezel Hager because it's considered a matana. Matana, you don't give meiser from matana. I'm talking about animals, not from fruit. If you have a Hiloni relative who gives you some very nice fruit and it's not shmita and it's chayv meiser, then you do have to take meiser. I'm only talking about animals, yeah. Quick questions. Today I'm the opposite of yesterday. Yesterday was very, very free speech over here. Today, enjoy it while it lasts because I want to finish the perk today. Before you raise your hands, please notice that we are 1 page and a half more or less before the end of the perk, and I would like to finish it today. And yeah, okay. This happened. Right. Nosan as a kesef le'anshei mishmar. We said in the Mishnah that if he gave the money to the Mishmar people, to the Kohanim, and then who's he? The thief, then died, the Gazlan died, and he did not manage to bring the second part of the story, which is the Asham. He brought the money, but not yet the Corbin. So what do? The money stays by the Kohanim. The money stays by the Kohanim, and the heirs of the Ganev cannot retrieve it from them. And the Asham, what can be with the Asham? The Asham itself is going to graze and eat and live nicely until it gets a blemish, very nice. Then we'll redeem it and buy oilos with the money. Amar Abaye, shmamino. That is to say, shmamino from where? We can derive from the fact that the heirs, who's fighting against you in court case now? You know what the court case is? Children of the Ganev versus the Kohanim of the Mishmar. The children of the Ganev say, we want the money back. And the Kohanim says, no, you're not going to get your money back. Says Abaye, why can't they get the money back, the children of the Ganev? Shmamino kesef mechaper mechza. Wow. That is to say that the money given is mechaper half. There is a thing called half a kapara. And that's what I told you before. And that's what I told Yaakov Gitzton before. Mechaper mechza, which means the money is half a kapara. How that works in Shemaim, I don't know. But even though the Asham will not be brought because the Ganev, died before bringing the Corbin, he didn't live to bring the Corbin, but the money still does something. It works halfway through his kapara. How do you know that? The Eloi Mechaper, had we said that money without the Corbin is 0, and he wouldn't have been Mechaper half, Avamina, I would have said, Mehadel Yorshin. Then the Yorshim are right that they should go back to them. My time. Why? Because they could say, he did not give it to you, Kohanim, in order not to get the kapara. You see, that's what I told you. He doesn't give the money because he wants to. He gives the money in order to get the kapara. He wants to press the button to get the bottle of Coke out of the drinks machine. In other words, he gives the money and hopefully the Asham, in order to get kapara. So now, if giving the money without Asham would mean 0, then they would say, hey, what's going on here? The Asham would say, you got money not for the right reason, because our daddy gave money in order to get kapara, and he didn't get kapara. Give us the money back. Money back guaranteed, right? Americans, English, yeah? You bought something in the store, you're not happy, they return you the money right in a second, like in Israel, exactly. So the same thing, you can all laugh. Yeah, I know, that was the best joke of the day. So now, good, start the day laughing. So now, the same thing over here. If the money would have done nothing without the Corbin, then we would say, give back the money. From the fact that they hold on to the money, the Kohanim, that is to say that something he did get. He did get kapar from the money. Corbin wasn't brought, so it's half a kapara. In Shemaim, he's doing much better now. Halfway through, he's also something. Very nice. Reg the Gemara, wait a second. You want to tell me that it can be conditional? You're telling me that otherwise, if not for what we said, and a person could say, I only want X, Y, Z in order to get kapara. And if I don't get kapara, then I want to reverse everything. It's all is reversible. Is that so? According to that, according to your logic, Chatas shemesu be'oleho. Very sad story. Don't say this to the animal lovers. This video should be kept very secretive. Chatas shemesu be'oleho. What's chatas shemesu be'oleho? There are 5 chatois. There are 5 types of messed up korbanos chatos. Something happened to them. Shemta Zoli to remember. Chatas, this Bailim died. Let's say there's a Chatas whose Bailim died. They died before bringing the Chatas to Beis HaMikdash. On the way to Beis HaMikdash, he's bringing his Chatas because they turned on the light on Shabbos. He got a heart attack. So much sugar, so much white flour. Chatas shemesu b'aleh. Chatas sheniskapu be'aleh. The Bailim already got kapara, and that second Chatas popped up. It was lost and found again. Vlad Chatas. Chatas gave birth to a baby. That baby has kedusha, but you cannot bring it to Beis HaMikdash. All these chatos are chatos that have kedusha, but cannot be brought to Beis HaMikdash, and also tmuras chatos, and also chatos over shnoso. We're not going there. Bekitzer, a chatos whose owner died cannot be brought to Beis HaMikdash because the bailim is not there anymore. However, it has kedusha. You know what you do with it? You have to put it in a kippah, not a kippah like I'm wearing. You have to put it in a closed room and let it die. It's exeris hakosuv. You let it starve. Yeah. You let it starve, and that's the rule against the tzar b'alechaim. That's what the Torah said to do. It's a gilgul of a koifer, I'm sure. Chatas shemesu be'aleh. Frag the Gemara. Wait a second. Why? Why do that? Tepuk lechulin. Why can't that chatas automatically? Why won't you say that the kedusha popped out, just vanished? Let it go out and automatically become chulin. You know why? Because I'll tell you why. When Tuchatchovsky was makdish the chatas, when he turned on the light on Shabbos by mistake, why was he mafresh the chatas on condition, even without saying it? It's self-understood, self-explanatory. He only was makdish and gave kedusha to the chatas in order to bring it to Beis HaMikdash, in order to atone for his sin. But if that never actually happened, I would say it in verbal abatisha terms, which I don't want to say, mekachtos, right? You paid Marks and Spencer for a good shirt, and you see you open the thing and it's a very bad, half-torn shirt. That's not the shirt you paid 10 pounds for. So avada, that's a mekachtos. Here too, in a way, yeah. If I'm not getting kapara, says the dead person kilu, although it's not a monetary issue. Here it's a kedusha issue. Since the guy is hopefully in Gan Eden now, right, and he's 5-6 feet under, then the Lamaisa, that chatas never really got kedusha, because the chatas was mukdash, was consecrated in order to do kapara. If it doesn't do the job of kapara, so the kedusha should reverse itself and just vanish. So why do you say it's kodesh, and you have all this problem of putting it in the room? Amri answers the Gemara, no. Chatas shemesu be'aleh, hilchas hagmiri lo, delmiso ozlo, hilchas hagmiri lo, halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Those 5 chatos is a famous line in Tmura somewhere, Yudfes or something, and it says over there that those 5 sad stories of chatos that are messed up, that there's a kedusha, but the kedusha can't be actualized in Beis HaMikdash. Hilchas hagmiri lo explains the Chazon Ish. What's Hilchas hagmiri lo? I saw the Chazon Ish. He's asking a question. Why said the guy made a condition? How can the Torah work against his condition, right? It's kilu a self-explanatory condition. I don't want the kedusha. Says the Chazon Ish, you know what, mister? Sometimes you can't make conditions against the Torah. The Torah said that even though it's ki'ilu, you made the condition, your condition just doesn't work. Yeah, let's say guy stands under the chuppah, and this guy is very holy, he thinks, and he says, Aret Mukadesh Esli, with a condition, you are hereby my wife, I'm not going to give you money, not give you clothes, and not give you marital relationship. I'm not going to give you intimacy. So let's say, does it work? Yes or no? Generally, no. Definitely not in the intimacy. No, it doesn't work. She is his wife, and he still is mechuyev to give her the needs that he has to meet her needs. In other words, you can't always make conditions on the Torah. Sometimes the Torah says conditions just ain't working. Same thing over here. The Torah said over here, if the chatas is kodesh, unless you verbally made the t'nai, maybe here would, but you didn't. Imela, the t'nai here doesn't work. the Tanai in your mind it does not work. The animal is kadosh, and if the guy died, the kedusha remains. Elo me'ata. Wait a minute. What? No, he did not get kapara because he died before the animal made it to Beis HaMikdash. The kedusha is there. Didn't say kapara. That's the whole problem. The kedusha is on the animal, even though the guy is now 5 feet under, and the kedusha is there. So what do you do with it? Stuck. And sadly, you have to indirectly kill the behema because there's nothing you can do with it. And by Katos, as opposed to Asham, by Katos, the solution is to just let it die. While by Asham, there is another solution: let it graze and eat happily until it gets a mum, and then you redeem it. That's by Asham, as opposed to Katos. And all other korbanos. Only Katos has that specific rule. Elamata, according to this, according to what you just told me, that Katos has a special Gezel Hager Lochel Mishim Sinai. Asham shemesu be'olov leipuk lechulin. Okay, what about Asham? By Asham, I would say, well, there's no special din of the 5 chatos mesos by Asham. Asham is a regular Corbin, and maybe over there, if the Bailim died, let the Asham automatically not have the chulin, go to chulin, and the kedusha should just pop up. Because with this in mind, he was never mafrish. He was never makdish and Asham in order. Had he known he would have died before the Asham did its job, he wouldn't have wanted to be Makdish to Asham. I'm not Makdish and Asham and wasting money and everything in order to just have the Asham graze in the whole story. And says the Gemara, a bigger Kiddush. Asham nam hilchas agmirilo. Asham too is part of the halacha Mishimisinai of Katos, is in a ripple effect, also affects the Asham. How? Kol, that's a famous line. Kol shebechatas mesa. There's a rule. Whichever type of chatas dies, whichever chatas of the 5 chatois I mentioned, all these messed up chatois, the bechatas has to die out of hunger. The asham royo. If it was an asham, then you, what do you say? Roya chistai. You let it graze until there's a blemish, and then you sell it, you redeem it, and the kedusha goes to a different korban for oilo. There's only one type of the 5 that cannot apply to asham, and that is vlad chatas. One of the 5 chatois which are sadly may end up being starving to death is the chatas of the baby of a chatas. A person, I think stupidly, I guess he didn't know, it was makdish a pregnant chatas. So the chatas itself goes to Beis HaMikdash and has its kapara, but the vlad doesn't. The vlad doesn't have the kedusha to be brought as a chatas. You can't bring an extra chatas. That can never apply to an asham. Why can't it apply to an asham? Why not? That'd be more simple. I wish I had more time. I'm sorry, no, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Even today's technology and craze and all the stupidity of gender, as far as I know, even today, men cannot be pregnant. Yeah, I only look pregnant. I'm not pregnant, okay? So, and I'm working very hard on it, you should know. So then, yeah, so Mimela, since Asham is male only, and therefore cannot be pregnant. That's why it just doesn't work. You know, there's no, but other than that, yes. Yeah, you can have Mesu Be'aleh, Niskapo Be'aleh, of Rosh Nasra, weiter. Frag the Gemara now, good. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Frag the Gemara. Elamata, still, according to what you just told me, you're telling me now that if not for the Gezel Hager, special Gezel Hager, Katos, Asham, don't touch. The Torah tells you, mister, you can't always make conditions over here. The Torah said that if you said this is Asham, this is Katos, it applies forever, even after death. Yeah, that's it. It's a forever thing. It's a Catholic wedding. Lahavdil $5. You're tied for life. And Mimela, even after the guy's death, the animal is still Kodesh. Ela me'ata, frag the Gemara, but otherwise, I could make conditions in my mind, right? Ela me'ata, according to this, if you say that I can make conditions in my mind and say, if it works for me, then yes. And if it doesn't work for me, then I don't want the whole thing to begin with. Yevama, what would be the story our colleagues, other Jews all around the world are learning now? Yevamas, Daf Yomi. Yevama shenafle lifnei mukeshchin. Oh, yeah, what a sad story. Don't tell the feminists. Yeah, there's Yevama, a nice young Jewish girl, yeah, married a nice Jewish boy. And then Lo Aleinu was killed in a very not nice car accident. Rahman al-Klon. No children left behind. So who does she have to marry? Okay, of course, there's Chalitza. Who does she have to marry unless Chalitza, which is done? Oh, but you know what? His brother is the mukeshchin. His brother is full of boils. His brother Bekitzer is crippled. His brother is full of terrible skin problems, or the brother is just doesn't vote to the right party. She hates the brother. The brother is disgusting person. So now she fell, not her fault, miskena. Now she fell in front of. In other words, she's kilu by default going to be the wife of somebody who's yeah, he's a mukeshchin. He's how do they say it in English? That's not the translation of mukeshchin. I can also say physically repulsive. That's not the translation of the word. Mukeshchin means struck by shchin. Shchin is boils. Boils. Like I think it was one of the plagues of Egypt, wasn't it? In Egyptology, I studied it. So, but it's not nice to write it in the top of the page. So you say physically, etc. The Getzer, the guy is not pleasant. So now, you know what this girl's going to say? I never wanted that to begin with. Zog the Gemara, tepuk beloy chalitza. Let her get out and marry whoever she wants, the next husband in line, without doing chalitza. Meaning, why? Had she known that she would have to fall in front of to be the potential automatic wife of Mr. Mukeshchin that has disgusting skin problems all over his skin, then what? Then she wouldn't have wanted all business to begin with. Yeah, that's what they say today, but it's a big halachic problem. Can a woman say, you know, that the kiddushin is only chal? Yeah, in case she's an aguna, she would say the whole kiddushin never ever started. That's a huge issue. I'm not entering that issue. That's all. How's it called? There's a word for it in English. Whatever. The kids are, yeah. So now that's a question. Can a woman say, I never wanted that marriage because had I known that it would fall into the hands of the mukeshchin, then the whole marriage to begin with was not aldaiti. That's a mekachtos. It's like paying 10 pounds and the shirt is torn. Is that so? Yeah. Can we say that? Can we go that far? Because we never said that. There's no such thing. Choices points out, by the way, that we're talking about a girl whose husband died before they were actually lived together, before the chuppah. Before there was actually a huppah, there's only the erusin. So she never gained anything. She never lived with her husband yet. Yeah. She never actually lived with her husband. So she didn't get any enjoyment, any really being married. And all she got was only the flack of it, the bedside, yeah, yeah. In other words, there were flowers, no real wedding yet. Yeah, the wedding didn't actually take place. Only the nervousness before that, and all of a sudden she falls in front of this repulsive guy. So she only lost. Maybe in this case you can say the whole thing was a mekach toast, and therefore maybe the whole kiddushin was never chal. And since there was no kiddushin with her first husband Reuven, then his brother Shimon is irrelevant. Maybe she can just go fancy free, and she doesn't have to do anything with Shimon. And says the Gemara, no, Hossam over there, Anan Sahadi, we sort of testify, we know her psychology for sure. The menach naichala b'chol. A woman would want to be miskadish to any person, meaning not to anybody. A woman is willing to get married even if she realizes there are shortcomings in the story, there are disadvantages in the Maisa. Like Rish Lakish said, it's better, says a woman, is quoting how women think, it's better to sit tandu with two people together. A woman would say, I prefer sitting together, I don't want to be lonely. It's better to be with another person, even if the situation is not ideal, and I have the possibility of maybe falling in front of his brother, meaning having to marry his mukeshchin brother. I'm willing to take the risk. And even though I never actually actualized the nisuin, but at the time of kiddushin, that's what she thought. In other words, in her plan, she says, oh, I found the choslan. I have a guy, I have a man, I have someone to sit with. There may be complications. Oh, look, his brother was, so what? Lamais, at the end of the day, we assume her mind is okay with that, and therefore it's not a problem. Otherwise, it would have been a problem. Would have been okay to annul the marriage. But we don't say she wants to annul the marriage because when she originally came to the marriage, she was happy. Here's a great guy. He's my chosan. I'm going to be married. There's a chisaron. There's a chisaron. Whoever gets married without thinking the other side is okay. Maybe some people think that the talachas are perfect. Not always. There's a brother is not perfect. Never. Weiter. Okay, please listen to the basic idea which was said in the Mishnah regarding the order of how one should bring the Corbin. Ideally, in a perfect world, yeah, like the dolls you mentioned before, If everything works right and nice and amazing and good and perfect and smiley, then a person who stole from a ger and admitted and the ger died, what should he do? He should first bring the money and then the Asham to who? To the same mishmoro. Yehoyariv are the first mishmoro. Maybe we should write it over here. Yehoyariv were the first mishmoro out of 24. Yeah. Yehoyariv is the first mishmoro. They work 1 week in Beis HaMikdash. Go to Yehoyariv 1 week in half a year. We're going to discuss it later. They work for 1 week, then they go home. Then next, in half a year's time, they go back. It's actually good you mentioned it. Yehoyariv, you bring the money to Yehoyariv, and only then the Asham to Yehoyariv. Beautiful. Happy end. So nice. Oh, we're all touched by the story. That's the ideal story. If B'di'eved, he gave the money, always money first. If he gave the Corbin first, you already are in trouble. It has to be money first. If he gave the money to Yehoyariv 1 week, and the second week he gave the Asham to Yedaya, oich git, as we say in Yiddish, also fine. He gave the money first of all to Yehoyariv. It took you some time. Next week, in your next trip to Yerushalayim, yeah, there's a new road. Go to Yerushalayim. Next week, you give the Asham to Yedaya. Please, 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 please remember. I actually wrote it on the whiteboard. Yehoyariv is Rishon first. Yedaya is Sheni. Okay, that's easy to remember. So first week money, Yehoyariv. Second week the Asham to Yedaya. Fine. Okay, still good. All nice. All beautiful. Could be even the third week to Eliashiv, the other Mishmoras, whatever. Chazir. No. Now the question is, what happens if you brought the Asham first? If you brought the Asham to Yehoyariv and you did not give them the money, that's when things start getting sour. Because to bring the Asham first is not good. And if you brought the money later to who? To Yedaya, then that's not good. And what's going to happen? We saw in the Mishnah, we're going to see later. Now, there are two people here at fault. While we're making faces, yeah.
Except first, Asham.
That's not good. Asham first and money later is not good.
The first I do
Is money and then Asham. Money first. Yes, but if Asham was brought first and then money, then it's a problem. But you know what? Let's already think for ourselves. As Rashi said in the Mishnah, let's say he gave the Asham to Yehoyariv, yeah, and then the Asham stayed there. The Asham, the actual ram, was still frolicking, running around. Then you brought the money to Yedaya. What would you say? I'd say, great. The money was brought to Yedaya. Then let Yedaya bring the Asham of Yehoyariv that overstayed. That's also, yeah, where's the thing? Yeah. Let's say you brought the sheep over here, which you shouldn't, not sheep, the ram. You brought the sheep here. If it stays alive until Yedaya, then the Yedaya bring the money, and then the sheep of them. That's also possible. Okay. If they shechted the ram, if Yoav shechted the ram, then they messed up big time, right? They shechted the ram, and the money wasn't yet brought. Then he has to bring another ram. Because Lamaisa, the money always has to go first. So if the animal was brought first and shechted first, then Yoyariv behaved stupidly. First of all, you don't like the word stupidly. They behaved foolishly. Such a bad word to say stupidly. They behaved wrong. Okay, you're sensitive to the word. So they behaved not nicely, foolishly. And now what? And now they messed up. But always you have to have the money and then the Corbin. Now we're in for a surprise. But these are facts we got from the Mishnah. Says the Gemara. Before we continue, when I say that Yoav behaved foolishly, it's not only, they really have to be, according to some people, they have to be punished for that. They have to be punished for receiving the Asham against the protocol before the money. Okay? And that we'll discuss also. We're going to see now Mechlokes Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda. No, he has to bring again. If they have to pay him, I don't know, but he has to bring another one. Yeah. No, but everything will be explained. No, he has to. It's his. Maybe they have to pay him for doing a nezik, but of course it's his chiyuv to bring. Avada. They didn't steal from the ger. Yes, they caused him a loss. That's a shaila, which I didn't yet see. That's another method. No, Bonu. Nosan Asham leHoyariv. He gave the animal to Yoyoriv. The animal went to Yoyoriv first. The kesef lidaya. That's not good. First, he gave the osham to Yoyoriv. Next week, he gave the money to Yudaya. That's bad. That's bad behavior. Yachzir kesef etzel osham diva Rabbi Yehuda. Look what Rabbi Yehuda says. You give the money together with the osham, and it's a big question how the technical works. And you know what happens? The Yudaya people, they gained both. You have to understand here before we continue, there's also a money issue here. Did you ever hear about people fighting over money? Never. But here all of a sudden comes a new thing. Actually, there could be a financial issue between the mishmaros. Why? Because one of them says, the question is, who should get both? One mishmara ideal should get both kesef and osham. He split it in the wrong way, one here and one to the other. When we say that both kesef and osham have to be joined together to the same mishmara, which should be the mishmara? Says Rabbi Yehuda something unbelievable. You should give the kesef to Yoyoriv. Get that? In other words, when Yudaya got the money, look, he says they got the sheep and they got the money, give it to Yoyoriv, and they should get the money. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Yoyoriv, they get the money. They get the money together with the Osham. Of course, you guys are asking now a question, is that a time tunnel? Yeah, that was right. There's a thing called, how could he go back in time? That's besides the point. But please, I really prefer no questions or comments now because it's something you need to think about everything. We'll talk. Well, everything will be explained. Yoyoriv, according to Rabbi Yehuda, they get everything. They won the trophy. They got the Asham first, which was bad. And what? And the money to Yudaya, give the money back to Yoyoriv, and they should do everything. They should shech, and they should do the money also. Everything goes to them. The Chachamim say no. Like I said before, Yachzir Osham etzel kesef. No, excuse me. Take the Osham, assuming the animal's still alive, say Chachamim, take the Osham, keep it for next week. When you bring the money to Yudaya, who are the good boys, why Yudaya good boys? Yudaya got the money. They're right. You're supposed to get money before Osham. So they did the right thing, they got the money, and they're waiting for the next thing to happen first. How does it go? A, B, C. They got A, Asham, in order to get B, money. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, they want to get the money, go, yeah, that's wrong. A should be the money, and then should be the Osham. Very good. They got the money, and that's right. Yudaya got the money, and then they hope to get the Asham. Very nice. If the Asham was brought last week, but wasn't yet shechted, the Asham will be schlepped over here to next week, and everything should be by Yudaya. What? But the evidence is better than nothing. Frag the Gemara, Echidami, you got a yellow ticket. Works in America, yellow ticket, red ticket. Frag the Gemara, Echidami, how does that work? The Gemara is going to ask my question. Listen carefully. If the story is like I told you, he gave Osham leYoriv b'mishmarta de Yoyoriv. If the Osham was given to Yoyoriv in week 1, when they were actually working, and the money of Yudaya in the Mishmeres of Yudaya, the second week, then Rabbi Yehuda does make sense. Each one should get what he got. And Rashi explains that this is someone attacking Rabbi Yehuda. How can Rabbi Yehuda say they make a knas on who? On Yudaya. Basically, we want to punish someone. You want to say the order is wrong here, we have to reorder. So who's going to gain? Yeah, 2 children are fighting over an object. Let's say you want to interfere, which is not educational, by the way, and you want to make justice over here. Who's going to get the object? Who's going to get both objects? Rav Chachami makes sense. Yudaya are the good boys, sweet Kohanim. They got the money first. Nothing was done wrong. Hey, look at that. The Asham is still alive. It's still kicking around in the corner of Beis HaMikdash. Great. Yudaya are good boys. They should get the Asham, and they get the money on the Asham. That makes sense. But Rabbi Yehuda, why are you giving a prize to Yoyoriv or bad boys? Yoyoriv, what are they? They got an Asham first. She's saying that the money should go back to Yoyoriv and they should do everything, besides the technical problem of how that's done. Yeah, but why is it just? Why is it right? Why should Yoyoriv, who got Asham without money, which is wrong protocol, they started on the left foot, why should you get the money first? No, you get the whole thing, money, and the money goes back to them. Yeah. By the way, I want to tell you a secret. Very, very easy answer to the question of time tunnel. You know when Yoyoriv can bring both Asham and Kesef, Baruch? In half a year's time. That's what Rav Yehuda will tell you. Rav Yehuda will tell you, yeah, You wait with the money and the Asham, and in half a year's time, Yoyariv, we will be back. The return of Yoyariv, they'll be back, and then they'll get both the Kesef and the Asham, but it's still not right. Why? Why should Yoyariv did the wrong step, who took the wrong move, and got the Asham too early, prematurely? Why should get both? No, Yedaya, like Rabbanan makes sense. Yedaya should get both money, which they did, right? And then the Asham, they were innocently expecting the Asham, so let them take the Asham from last week and give it here. Answers the Gemara, Omarova, Enochinami, and it's similar to what you, Baruch, were saying. You know what the story over here in the Bryce is? It's not this story. It's not the story on the whiteboard. The Yoiv Asham leYoyariv b'mishmarta deYoyariv. He gave the Asham on week 1 to Yoyariv in the Mishmar Yoyariv. The Kesef leYedaya b'mishmarta deYoyariv. Got that? You know when he gave everything? He gave everything in the first week. He went. He did a trip around Israel. He did like this. He went to the Holy Temple and he gave in Jerusalem, I think it is, and to Yoyariv he gave the animal in Yerushalayim. Then he quickly drove to Tzipori, which is where Yedaya lived, and he gave them the money outside Beis HaMikdash in the week in which they're not supposed to be working and are now sitting in Kollel learning. And during that first week, he gave them the money. Now, nobody here is a good boy. Nobody here is a good boy. Why? Yoyariv are not such great kids. Why? Yoyariv got an Asham, and they should have asked, where's the money? They too quickly were happy to get the Asham without saying, hey, mister, this is not a protocol. We have to get the money first and then the Asham. Now, Yedaya are not exactly angelic angels and perfect either. Why are you getting money in a week that's not yours? You got the money. Don't you know that you're not right now in Beis HaMikdash? You're in Tzipori. You're now sitting in Kollel. Why are you getting the money so eagerly? So nobody here exactly is Malach HaShoves. The question is, who is worse? Rabbi Yehuda says, I'm going to punish Yedaya. Rabbi Yehuda says, the ones that get the punishment, the penalty is Zu Yedaya. Rabbi Yehuda Sova, Kema delav nishmeres Yedaya. This is not Yedaya's shift. This is not Yedaya's turn not to work. And by the way, not to get money either, you know? Yedaya consinale. Therefore, we do the knas, we penalize who? It's called to penalize, right? Who do you penalize? Yedaya. Why do you get the money not in the right place and not out of context? You're getting money outside Beis HaMikdash, but the evidence works if it's your mishmara. Baruch Rins. In other words, if you ditched and you are not right now working in your own mishmara and you're right now on the beach in Tel Aviv, okay, we won't tell the Kohen Gadol, I can give you the money there. But this is worse. It's not the their time of none of the Yedaya people. Way out of your time, getting money, you get the knas. And Yoyariv will get everything, and they'll bring everything whenever time. Let's say in half year's time. Hilkach yachzir kesef etzel Asham. So the money should be joined to the Asham, should be, so to speak, annexed to the Asham, which is by Yoyariv. Yoyariv will get everything. Remember, Rabbi Yehuda is a Yoyariv fan. The Rabbanon Savri, Rabbanon say, no. Rabbanon say the worst are Yoyariv. They're the worst boys. They're the bad ones. You know why? They got Asham, and without asking too many questions about where's the money. Money, like you have the visa, like you have, you don't need visas actually. Yeah, whatever you do, there are stages in process. There's a process with stages. First of all, bring the money, then the Asham. Why did you receive the Asham without kesef? Mr. Yoyariv and his friends and his family. Therefore, we penalize Yoyariv for receiving Asham without money first. And that's easier. And who does everything? Who receives everything, Asham and money? The ones who have the money in their hands, which is Yedaya. The true Yedaya are not perfect either, but they're not as bad, according to Kohanim. And what's going to be? Yedaya will take the money, and next week they'll bring the Asham in Beis HaMikdash. Yedaya right now in Tzipori. Next week they have the money in their hands, which is forgivable, and because it's not the right time and place, but Shon Seder. And next week they'll bring the Asham, and the Asham should be kept for next week for Yedaya. Very quick question. We are by the border of South Korea, North Korea. Enjoy yourself. Weiter. I don't mean to be rude. They're not shomer for anybody. They want to keep it for themselves.
I have an Asham. Where is the money? You know the money? I'll be shown there the Asham for the next Shevet.
That's not what they want. No, excuse me. No, actually, you know what? I was upset with the question. I'm happy with the question. And you know what? The question will be answered very soon. They're not giving up. They each want everything. They want it money. I said before, they're not willing to be each other. Am I your shomer for my phone? No, it's my phone. I want it. I need it. Kosher. Yeah, what? No. Each one wants the Asham and ideally everything. They're actually fighting in court about it, possibly, as we're going to see now. Tanya, okay, that's the question and that's the answer. Tanya, here, a court case to run away. Tanya, Omar Rebbe, says Rebbe, Lediva Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Rebbe makes a comment about what Rabbi Yehuda would say. Im kodmu bnei yoyoriv, ve'krivu es ha'osham. Oh, let's say bnei yoyoriv, oh, they're really messed up. Oy vavoy. You know what bnei yoyoriv did? They sacrificed the Asham. They brought the Asham to the Mizbeach without what? Without the money. Terrible. You know what? What has to happen now? Yachzor v'yovi Asham acher. Poor Mr. Ganav, who's chozer b'tshuva, has to bring yet another Asham. Ve'krivu bnei yidayo. Oh, and bnei yidayo, they should what? They should bring the new Asham after they got the money. Yidaya got the money, then has to come a new Asham. However, we keep asking that they should be penalized, the Bnei Yoriv. He says, no, but Bnei Yoriv, since according to Rabbi Yehuda does not penalize Bnei Yoriv because he believes Bnei Yoriv were relatively better because they at least accepted it in Beis HaMikdash, not out there on the beach or out there in Tveria. So therefore, he says they, who's they? Bnei Yoriv should stay with what they have. They got the Asham, if they were makrivit, they're allowed to enjoy the Asham and gain benefit from the Asham. Back the Gemara, Amri, they ask the question, what do you mean? Lamai Chazi. What is this Asham good for? Asham Pasulu. The Asham is a disqualified Asham. Why? Because it came before the money. Asham without money is worth nothing and not allowed to eat its meat. So what did they gain? If they ask a rabbi, oh, listen, rabbi, they have feelings of remorse and they say, oh, we got the Asham, and Rabbi Yehuda said we're not so bad because we received it in Beis HaMikdash. The Lamata there's no money given. The rabbi would tell them you're not allowed to eat it. It's an Asham pasul. So what did they gain? I'm not talking about if they have to pay or not, but halachically mitzad kodshim, they're not allowed to eat the meat. So what do you mean they gained? They got the hides, they got the skins, and that's a chiddush. That's a big chiddush. Usually we say that the flesh and the skin go together. Here we see, although the Corbin is possible, because the or is chulin, the or is a separate unit, which is like a secular, so to speak, part of the animal. The or they get, they're allowed to benefit from the hides. They can take the hides of the Asham and make nice leather bags for the wives or for themselves, nice briefcase, whatever they want. The or they can get, and we don't cancel them because Rabbi Yehuda believes that the Bnei Yoyoriv are not so bad because at least accepted it in the right place. Tanya. Another brisa, Omar Rebbe Lediv Rabbi Yehuda, says Rebbe another statement regarding Rabbi Yehuda. Oh, now your question is going to be answered. Im Kayim Asham, yeah, let's say the Asham is still there, as I told you. Let's say the Asham was not sacrificed by Bnei Yoriv, then Yachzir Asham etzel Kesef. Whoa. Then the Asham should go to Bnei Yidaya, who got the money. When did Yidai get the money? The wrong time. Yidai or not? So, Yidai got it in the first week, and yet next week when they wear the white clothes and go to Beis HaMikdash, not in that order, when next week they work, then Yidaya will also get the Asham. The Asham survived the first week. They should do everything. Is that Rabbi Yehuda? Mapitom. No, that's Rabbanon, Rabbi. Frag the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda? Yachzir Kesef Etzel Asham Yislei. No, well, what are you talking about, Rabbi? No. Rabbi Yehuda is the one who believes the Yoriv gets everything. They're the ones who got the Asham and they're not so bad. So the money should go to them in half a year's time. And they should do it. Did Rabbi Yehuda change his skin? What are you talking about? Answers the Gemara. And that is going to explain everything now. You know what we're talking about over here? Making the kimta. Let's say the entire week of Yoyoriv passed by. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Shabbos, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The entire time passed. Yoyoriv got an Asham at some point, and Yoyoriv knew, because he told them, they knew that he gave them money during that very first, what happened in that week? Two things. Yoyariv got the Asham in Beis HaMikdash, and Hidayah got the money on that same week, right? Let's say a day later, where in Tzipori to the people of Hidayah. Yoyariv knew about it. They got an SMS, they got an email. The money was received by who? By Hidayah. And the whole week passed. Veloy Tovu. They never claimed the money. It's a money claim. Let's say Yoyariv were very nice people. They said, we got the Asham, and hey, where's the money? And they found out. A shaliach told them, they got a WhatsApp with a picture. The money was with a video. The money was given to who? To Bnei Yidayah. And Bnei Yorav said, they didn't do anything an entire week about it. The Kamash Malan, that is to tell me the Achuli Achilu Gabayu. That means that they were mochel in nice Hebrew, which means it's a money business. If really Yoyariv an entire week knew about the money given to Hidayah and never claimed it, that means they're mochel, which means Rabbi Yehuda is being their lawyer. But if you're working against yourself or you're giving up on the case, your lawyer can be better than you. Which means if Yoyariv say, we want the money, we got the Asham, you guys are not fair. You got the money in the wrong place in Tveria. When you get money, not your time, not your place. Says Rabbi Yehuda, I'm their lawyer. I agree with Yoyariv. But if Yoyariv themselves said or didn't say anything, it was a quiet consent, and they never claimed the money from Hidayah, which was given wrongly to Hidayah, that means they're moichel. And therefore, when Hidayah will come next week to actually officiate in Beis HaMikdash, Yoyariv should at that point give them the Asham. Yoyariv with the money in their pockets, Hidayah with the money in their pockets. Now comes the second week. They should now bring the Asham that was originally given to Yoyariv and stay the whole week, and everything should be done by Hidayah. Okay? Even according to Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Because Ramichael, they waived the rights. Bnei Yoyariv. So Rabbi Yehuda says, I can't work for you better than you work for yourself. To get the money. To get the money. Because they didn't say anything. They're not toveh. Yeah, you have a whole week. No. A regular case is the word toveh, as I told you. If Bnei Yoyariv said, we want the money, he says, well, we do the right. And Rabbanan would say the Bnei Hidayah are right. Bnei Hidayah claim, no, we want the Asham. You guys were wrong. We want the Asham. The Kohanim say Hidayah are right. That's the Shiloh. You can call it that way. They're Michael. Yeah, they're not mechuyev to be shermer to them because they're not commit themselves. No, I'm sorry to insist. I'll talk about 10:25. We'll talk. Tanya Idach says the Brisa. Omar Rebbe, another statement, a third statement of Omar Rebbe Lediv Rabbi Yehuda. That is a little bit more complicated. The story is like this, but not very complicated. It's the same story with another development. Lediv Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Im Kayim Asham, if the Asham is still around, yeah. Again, what happened? Let's summarize now. Let's summarize instead of talking new cases. Mr. Ganav, yeah, was doing tshuva. What did he do? On the very first week of the cycle, he went to Yerushalayim and he brought the Asham to Yoyariv, a wrong move, because he brought Asham before money. Hey, Yoyariv people, what are you doing? And then he did another wrong move and he gave the money to Hidayah, who are right now, you know where? They're by Rabbi Abu Chatzera in Nahariya. They're way out of Beis HaMikdash, and he gave the money to them to Hidayah. Two wrong moves. The question is, in the same week, yes, in the same week for Yoyariv. So now, wrong time, wrong place for Hidayah, and wrong order for Yoyariv. Who's worse? Now, the guy doesn't know it from his life, but the Kohanim should know better. So the question is, who's worse over here? According to Chachamim, Hidayah or Yoyariv are terrible. Yoyariv, you get penalized. Why did you get the Asham before the money? Everything goes to Hidayah, right? Next week, everything will happen. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Hidayah are worse. Why did you get it out of time, out of place? Hidayah, naughty boys. And therefore what? Everything should go to Yoyariv, which will probably bring it in a half year's time. That's the sequel. Zokt, again, Omar Rebbe, Lediv Rabbi Yehuda. Im Kayim Asham, if the Asham is still there, survived the first week in Yoyariv, were at least smart enough not to sacrifice it, Yachzor Kesef Etzel Asham, then the Kesef should go to the Asham, and Yoyariv should bring it in half a year's time. So now the question is, Pshita, Achi Islay, of course, we know that already. What's Rebbe telling me something I already knew? I know already that Rabbi Yehuda is a big Yoyariv fan, or let's say more punishing to Yudaya. And I know at the end of the day, somehow, somewhat, somewhere, everything will end up by Yariv. So what's the Chiddush? Answers the Gemara something more cool even. You know the story is, listen to this. Both weeks passed. Ooh. The first week passed and Yariv went like, they're very nice and Anglo, didn't say anything. You know what happened next week? Also, Yedaya did not claim anything either. Nobody said anything. Yedaya did not say, we want the Asham. Just like we said before, the Bnei Yoriv kept quiet and never claimed the money, it's Mechila. The second week came, and Yedaya, who got the money, never said, where's the beef? Where's the Asham? And we want to bring now the Asham that was brought to Yoriv. They never said that. Loi tovu, v'loi tovu, nobody claimed anything. Mao de Tema, one would have thought, Achuli Gabi Hadadi. Maybe now we would say that they were moichel to each other. Maybe we would say now that each one is moichel to the other one. And therefore what? And therefore there's a Machlokes Rashi and other Rishonim and other people. I will go now not with Rashi. I'm daring to go not with Rashi because that's what I saw in the Mefarshim of the Rambam and the Chazon Ish. And they say, you know who may possibly get it? The third one. The third Mishmara. The next Mishmara. You gave up, you gave in, maybe the next one should get it. Maybe that's what we should say. You gave in, the third one gets it. You're also nice. The third one should get it. That is one way of learning it, although it's not Rashi. Kamash Malan answers the Gemara, no. Damrinan, we say not like that. Kema deloy tavi la'adu bereisha. Since nobody claimed anything, it's not an active mechila. Nobody claimed, so it goes back to square one. What's back to square one? According to Rabbi Yehuda, Yoyariv. And Yoyariv would bring everything in half a year's time. We don't say it's a mutual mechila kilu. Each one said, I'm pushing it away from me, and the third party would get it. We say, no, it's a standstill. Nobody claims, but nobody is mevater either. It's like as if nothing happened. If nothing happened, fine. So we bring things back to the original situation. And who's the one who is the winner? Automatically by default by Rabbi Yehuda. Yoyariv, in half a year's time, Yoyariv should bring the thing. The Chazon Ish and others are not so happy with the half a year's time business. You know why? Because they say, meanwhile, it can get a blemish. And also the Chazon Ish says that there's a mitzvah, as I did tell you, Baruch, you once insisted, and I answered you back at the end, that why should the person give a Corbin quickly? Because, and I told you, the mitzvah midoraisa is to bring a Corbin ASAP. What we say, Baal Te'acher, only after 3 holidays, that's the eved, not to be over Baal Te'acher. But the mitzvah, to begin with, is right away, ASAP. The Mimela, they're not so happy with that half year's business. That's another story. That's another Nakuda. Hopefully, between then and then, they'll be eating also. All right. Okay. So we didn't finish okay. Tomorrow, Mirz Hashem, we'll finish the parak. And now I'm ready for more questions. And thank you very much. Tizkut lemitzvot. Baruchim to you.